Welcome to Survivor Not by Chance. This is Nicki J. Thank you for listening to my podcast. And the name of this episode is called Removing the Mask. First off, I would like to say I am not a licensed psychologist. I am not a licensed therapist. I am also not providing medical advice to anyone. This episode is only my story and my experiences, and I just want to provide information to people who are going through some of the same things that I go through and have gone through, and hopefully I can heal as well as help others heal from my story. So this episode name is Removing the Mask. Google defines a mask as a covering for part of the face worn as a disguise or to amuse or terrify other people. Practically my entire life, I felt I had to wear a mask from a child up until my adulthood. Honestly, I didn't feel that it was safe for me to remove my mask until a few years ago. And slowly but surely, even with me opening up with these podcasts, it's allowed me to completely remove more of my mask. Everyone wears a mask, and everyone allows you to see certain parts of themselves. For example, social media. My opinion, no one else's opinion, but my opinion, I believe, is a huge mask for majority of the people who are out there. A lot of people use social media to mask their lives, to pretend as if they are living this grand life. They're very happy and very fulfilled and successful when they're dying inside. They're terrified inside. They have no peace and no joy or no happiness in their homes, but they display this mask on social media as if they have the best life, and you think, oh my God, these people are like the best people in the world and I want to be like them when I grow up. And that's not the reality of it. So I know for me, I didn't learn about wearing a mask. I felt I had to wear a mask. I had to be the perfect child. I had to be the perfect student. I had to be the perfect sister, the perfect big sister. I had to be the best at everything. So I suppressed who I was as an individual person to please everyone else. That's the reason most people wear masks, because they want to please people. I was always a people pleaser. It was just in my nature. So as a result, that's, how it be. That's how I started. So I can remember in third grade, I think it was, or second grade, I got a B on, I can't remember what subject it was, but I had all A's and one B. And I came home crying, bawling, crying my eyes out because I got one B. And everybody was saying to me, well, why are you crying? You only got one B. It's okay. It's okay to get a B. And I said, no, I have to get straight A's. I have to get straight A's. Something in my brain made me feel that if I didn't get straight A's, it was something wrong with me, or I wasn't the perfect child that I was trying to aim to be. And the reason I was trying to aim to be the perfect child was because I was hiding all of the baggage that I had from my home. I knew I had to hide from just being a second or third grader. I knew I had to cover up my face and amuse everyone that this kid is the best. She has the best parents. She comes from a great family, and it's nothing wrong with her. And at that time, I didn't understand um, why people didn't understand why me getting a B was not a big deal. Now I see why, you know, I cried about getting a B, and why I was so upset, because I felt as if part of my true self was showing kind of through uh, to people, that B showed a little bit of an imperfection, and that I wasn't that perfect child that I was trying so hard to be. Around that time frame, my mom was heavily into drugs, and she would leave myself and my siblings alone for days, sometimes at a time. And it was my responsibility as the oldest sibling to literally take care of my younger siblings. I had to change my 1 year old sister's diapers. I think I was about 8 around that time, so I was in second grade. I had to change my 1 year old sister's diapers. I had to bathe her. I had to clean her. I had to make sure she had clean clothes, as well as my sibling that was a year younger than myself. I had to cook. I had to go to the grocery store and get food and make sure we had food. I had to make phone calls. I basically was a mother from age 8 years old up until now. So I learned how to mask my emotions. I learned how to mask my dysfunction in my home from that age going up. I would say child welfare was involved in our lives for years and years and years and years. And we were passed on to live with my mom, then we were passed on to live with my grandmother, then we were passed on back to live with my mom, to aunts, then back and forth to stay with family, friends. We lived in shelters. I was literally in school still, living in the shelter. Sometimes the shelters would be filled with families and we couldn't live there. So they would put us in hotels, and I still had to go to school every day. So I never felt comfortable telling anyone about my home life. So it became a habit just not to talk about it at all. No one knew about anything that I went through with my biological father or my biological mother. I didn't tell teachers. I didn't feel safe to tell teachers. I didn't tell a guidance counselor. I didn't tell any friends. No one knew. It was just my well-kept secret. It was a part of my mask. Then let's fast forward to high school. In high school, I never talked about my home life. I had friends, and those friends never knew I didn't live with my biological family. They did not know I did not live with my biological mother or my biological father. For all they knew, I had the perfect life. There were so many people in high school that judged me and called me a nerd. They called me geeks. They called me Miss Goody Two Shoes. Little did they know I was none of those things, because I was only aiming to get good grades so that I can get a scholarship to go to college. The reason I knew I needed to get a scholarship to go to college is because by the time I turned 18, I did not know if I would have a home to lay my head in. So, people calling me a nerd and calling me a geek, I just rubbed it off. But they didn't realize that was part of my mask. And that mask, if they would have took time to get to know me as an individual person, they would have learned that, oh, I was getting straight A's because I knew I had to find a college to go to. And I was not just trying to go to college so I could have a place to live, but because I knew that was my only way out of the hood. That was my only way out of the situations that I've been placed in as a result of my childhood. And I look at my yearbook, and my yearbook, I had 3 people sign my yearbook. We had a class of like 74, 75 students. I only had 3 people sign my yearbook. That shows you how many friends I had in high school. But people are so immersed in themselves, and you know, if you wear the best clothes and you wear this and you wear that, or you hang out with this group of people, you hang out with that group of people, then that's the cool thing to do. But not realizing you're alienating people who actually need someone to support them. No one ever asked me anything about my home life. So as a result, I felt like I shouldn't have told them. I would say going towards my senior year in high school, that's when I finally started to open up and started to not remove my mask, but started to move and shift my mask just a little bit, because that's when I found out, people who get scholarships are people who have hardships. And I knew I had hardships, but I never accepted it. And so it was kind of hard for me to talk about the hardships. So I would say junior year, the end of junior year of high school, I went to my guidance counselor. And to this day, I am so grateful for that woman. She was an angel and still is an angel in my life. I give her the absolute utmost respect. She was the person that actually helped me get to that pivotal point where I realized I was drowning in my pain and sorrow and hurt. So one day, I went to her and I said, I absolutely have to get scholarships. I have no family to help me get to college. I have no one to help me to support me. What can I do? And she told me about all the different scholarships that I can apply for. And she told me to tell my story and writing those essays. And I'm like, I was so scared. I'm like, oh, Miss, I don't want to say her name because I'm not sure if she's okay with me saying it. But I'm like, Miss, I'm not sure if I should, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable telling them my story. She said, if you don't tell your story, you're not going to get the money you need for school. And you tell your story and you open up and you don't hold anything back. And so that's what I did. And when I did that, at first, I didn't hear anything back. And I was nervous and I was so scared. But just opening up about my truth and what I experienced, thank God, I was able to get a full scholarship to the college I went to. And it wasn't, oh, this college gave me the full scholarship. No, it was a full scholarship because I think I was awarded 4 or 5 different scholarships from different foundations. And all those different foundations, I was eligible for financial aid. And I was eligible for those different scholarships. And I got a scholarship to the college that I went to as well. And then when I was in college, I was able to get refund checks to help me live from day to day because I didn't have anybody to give me any money to, wash clothes, any money to get books. I had book funds. I was just blessed upon blessed just from me opening up and showing part of my story. So that was definitely a part of me that I would never forget. And I would never forget her and she being an inspiration to me to show me that, it's okay to be who you really are. People will accept you for who you really are. You don't have to hide yourself.